I know you all are going to be devastated, but this is the very last video presentation you're going to have to watch in U.S. history. This one is called America Since Nixon, Part 2. And you can find information in Chapter 29, Sections 2 through 4 of your orange textbook. We're in Goal 12, and we're going to focus on 3 objectives specifically. Objective 1, summarize significant events in foreign policy since the Vietnam War. Objective 4, identify and assess the impact of social, political, and cultural changes in the U.S. And Objective 6, assess the impact of 21st century terrorist activity on American society. Our essential questions are, how did Americans respond to the close election in 2000? What was the impact of Bush's domestic agenda and his response to the terrorist attack against the United States? And how did the politics of this country change with the election of Obama? In 2000, Vice President Al Gore ran against Texas Governor George W. Bush in the election. Gore won the popular vote, and Bush appeared to have won a narrow electoral victory. Then Florida announced that they wanted to do a vote recount because the margin of victory was so slim in that state. The problems came when they discovered that ballots in Florida were not all uniform. Many had marked ballots improperly or ambiguously. They had problems with the machines and how the machines punched holes in the ballots. There were any number of problems. Bush took Gore to court to stop the recount, and this ended up in the Supreme Court, Bush versus Gore, where the Supreme Court ruled against Gore, ruled 5-4, conservatives to moderates, to stop the recount and declare Bush president. After this incident, Americans began calling for voting and election reform. So Bush became president in 2001 and stayed for 2 terms until 2009. He, of course, is a Republican, and one of the first things that he advocated was No Child Left Behind, and I'm sure you've all heard of that. Basically, No Child Left Behind expands standardized testing, teacher accountability, and is designed to prevent unqualified children from passing to the next grade. Then, in September 11, 2001, Islamic fundamentalists hijacked 4 jetliners. 2 of those planes hit the World Trade Center in New York City. 1 plane hit the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. And the passengers of the 4th plane crashed it into the Pennsylvania countryside before it could make it back to D.C. It was discovered that this was a plan that had been organized and executed by Al-Qaeda, an international terrorist network led by Osama bin Laden. At the time of 9/11, lots of people felt a deep connection with those who experienced loss in the attacks. And lots of people had connections. This was mine. This is Ari Jacobs, who was in Tower 1 during 9/11. He was killed, and his son Gaby was born 6 days after 9/11.